thanks for switching over from Andrea's channel. If you aren't familiar with Andrea's channel, it's New Life Albania. And if you're one of my subscribers, please subscribe to her channel as well. She covers a lot of things about just life in Albania, budgeting, and does hiking videos and stuff, which is great because we love to hike here. So thank you everyone for joining us. I'll start with one of the comments. Tona says that Gina has a laundry company that picks up blankets and delivers them to your house when they're done. That's great because I have some very large blankets, and European washing machines are small, so I generally have to I have a clean plastic trash can and I have to wash them in that and hang them. And it is like they're such big blankets, and when they're completely wet, I can barely lift them to get them on the clothesline. Yeah. So I would really like that.
We probably have a couple people here who didn't see my live, so let's tell everyone who Gina is.
Yeah, Gina is our Albanian language teacher. She teaches
our lifeline
over Albanian. And she also has a website, which is
howcanihelp.al.
Howcanihelp.al. And she is a local Albanian here who also speaks English and Greek and Italian. Was that on there?
There was one other language. I think it was Italian. Yes.
So Ship, which is Albanian, English, Greek, and maybe Italian. So
pretty sure it was Italian.
But she has set up a website, and it's for basically people like us who move over here, and she can help you out with everything from getting your documents in order and making sure all that's right, to finding whatever your representative religious services are.
Help you with shopping appointments.
And apparently laundry.
And laundry. So she knows someone that can help you with just about everything. And it's really helpful to have someone to translate when you're navigating this world as an expat. So she has been wonderful and helpful. And again, her website is howcanihelp, all one word, .al.
Yes, a wonderful person, and I think we're both privileged to have her as a friend and a teacher, and can be a great help to you if you come here as well. So, welcome everyone.
Welcome everyone. Hi Jeff, glad you made it back over. Hi Spider Webster, good to see you. Spider Webster says, nice tip. I wish I'd known about her services months ago. The apartment search has been trying. Yeah, it certainly can be. And that's why she started this service, because so many of us were really struggling because I think a lot of you Americans coming over here like me, I'm used to just Googling everything and finding everything very easily via the internet. And it's just not like that here. There's a lot of great services that just don't advertise online. Or if they do, they don't have the websites that we're used to, the user-friendly websites, or they're all in ship. So it's just a little bit harder to navigate, and it's a lot of just who you know. And we know Gina. Right. And if you would also like to know Gina, check out her website, howcanihelp.al, and she will help you navigate being an expat in Pokradec.
Yeah, it's coming here as an expat, and it not being as an online country is what you're probably used to, figuring things out. It really helps to know a local. And
it really helps.
It's a real asset. I had my friend Ermal and his uncle Kutim, and my neighbor Fumur.
We have Illyri. Our building manager has been wonderful and helpful also.
Yeah, and all my neighbors here have been extremely helpful to me. So having an Albanian friend is a real asset here for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're just so helpful and just friendly and just willing to help in so many ways. Dan says they made it. Glad you made it over. Good to see you. He says our sound is 100%.
Oh, good. We did.
Oh, yeah. Tona says sound is definitely better. So we have microphones, professional microphones this time.
I ordered microphones.
So we use two different phones for our live streams. That's the problem.
Right. So I'm on Android, and I ordered a couple microphones that plug into the phone, and Andrea is on Apple, and we just haven't gotten those microphones yet. But we're going to get them this week.
This week, I promise. Don't let me forget.
I won't. We'll pick them up this week, and that way next week we'll
be sounding a little better.
Both live streams will be clean and clear. So
awesome.
That's the idea.
All right. So we don't have any other questions at the moment. So we want to talk a little bit about.
Well, I want to talk about just my channel a little bit first.
Okay.
And I mentioned this on your live stream, but I might have some other viewers here that weren't on your live stream. So my channel mostly focuses on ancient history around here and natural spaces. But I'm also, a guitar player, and I'm going to add some of that to the channel. And I'm a photographer, and I'm considering doing some reviews on lenses and things like that, and getting into that, and some walk around photography videos about like, these are places you can go and get good photos and stuff like that. You probably, if you're a photographer, you've probably seen some other videos that are sort of like that, like Roman Fox goes around and just has a day where he does photography, and he kind of takes you to the places that he goes and shoots photos, and some a little bit of cooking and things like that. So if you're one of my subscribers, I'd be really interested to know in what you would like to see more of. Like I said, it's always going to be focused on history, natural places that we like to go see. So historical and natural places, and then my life here in Albania, and then also like some of these other peripheral things, guitar, photography, and stuff like that. And also I'm getting into real estate a little bit, so I'm promoting some people's houses. And if you're looking to come here, I can also help you find an apartment and things like that. So so that's that. If you're interested in any of those things in particular, or if there's something I didn't mention, you'd be like, hey, I'm interested in Albania, but I'd really like to know more about this particular aspect of it. I'd love to hear it in the comments. Yeah. So you want to talk about our
upcoming trip? I just wanted to catch up on comments. Hi, Mary and Steve. Steve is joining us from Tirana. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve. Welcome.
Taxis Alexi has turned into Dennis's best friend. Also, Ulsi is an amazing. Taxi drivers. They go from Greece to Macedonia and all of Albania. Yeah, if you need a taxi driver, let us know. We have some good ones. Not all taxi drivers here are. They don't all drive well.
It can be.
I'll just say it.
It can be a real ride, like almost like a theme park, and sometimes you don't want that. You just want somebody who is careful.
Yes, careful, trustworthy, and we know quite a few really great cab drivers, and we'd be happy to help hook you up if you need one.
They will also sometimes play music you really don't want to listen to. So there's some very professional cab drivers and some very fly-by-night cab drivers.
Yeah. I had a cab driver in Tirana. I had 2 cab experiences in Tirana that were so traumatic, I'll never forget them. One guy had a Tesla, and he was going from 0 to 60 in between every stoplight and just weaving in and out of traffic, and he was playing like this really rude music that was just not something I wanted to listen to while I'm sitting next to my son, and it was just not pleasant. Yeah. But now we have Genti who takes us back and forth, so it sounds like Tona has some good cab drivers as well.
Yeah, and we have a good Illyri. We have a cab driver here locally that brings us back and forth from my village, which is where we're at today, to your place in the town, and he's a really good guy.
Great guy.
So this is one of the fun things about Albania is, everything's not on the surface. You have to dig a little bit and find the gems.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how it works. And also, speaking of that, if you come here and you're looking for a car rental, I have a great guy for renting cars from. You have to be careful with that as well. So
sure.
It's just like everything else. Like Albania is 100% one of those places where you got to know a guy.
Yeah.
But if you know a guy,
we know some guys now.
Things go really smoothly.
And we know a girl. We have Gina.
We've got
she's our lady.
So it's one of those places where if you know a guy or a gal, things will go really well for you. If you don't, it can be a toss up.
Yeah.
It can be a real experience.
Dan says he wants to see a historical cooking photography accompanied by guitar video.
That's a tall order, Dan. That's a lot in one video, man. Maybe we can. Maybe there might be a way to make that happen. That would be fun. That would be fun.
Well, we talked about doing some of those historical dishes.
We can even go on location and bring a little stove.
Yes.
And my guitar. we'll make something.
You got it,
and
Dan.
I'll play a little guitar.
We got you covered.
And we'll talk about what we're shooting the video with when we do it. So
fantastic.
I think that'll be fun.
All right. So Steve has not been to Poker Dets yet, but he plans on going there. Let us know when you're in town. We'd love to meet up with you.
Where have you been, Steve? Poker Dets is it's a small town, but really good food, really nice people. And the best thing about Poker Dets, in my opinion, is its access to the rest of this part of the world. So we're right on the Macedonian border. We're also right on the Greek border. Korcha is like a 40-minute bus ride, maybe 30-minute car ride away. So lots of really great things nearby. Voskopoja, which we spoke about on your channel, and I made that historical video on. Mm-hmm. That's probably about 40 minutes away.
Yeah.
It's about 20 minutes outside of Korcha. From diagonal from here, it's about 40, 45 minutes. So lots of really, Poker Dets is a cool town. It's also close to a lot of really cool towns. Also, the village of Lynn, which is technically part of Poker Dets, has Europe's oldest settlement from data from around 8,000 BC. So, the oldest discovered settlement in all of Europe is basically in our town, in our municipality.
Yeah, isn't that fascinating?
And Lynn is just a town on a peninsula. It's really pretty. There's also Byzantine ruins there. There's a cathedral that's in ruins, and it has some really spectacular mosaics that are on display usually in the summer, but they cover them up sometimes to protect them. They're covered over the winter, and sometimes even in the summer, it's covered with like sand and gravel to protect it. But they've been pretty good about exposing them, and it's a really, really amazing place to visit.
Let's see. Fred says, "I'm correct. I am correct. The U.S. citizens can visit Albania visa-free for 1 year, but after 183 days, they become a tax resident."
Yeah, that is on the first point. Absolutely, American citizens can visit here visa-free for 1 year. As far as the tax residency thing goes, I mean, maybe technically on paper, but there's nobody checking that. And if you're not here making money, there's nothing for them to really tax. That's one of those things where I'm just going to consult an attorney,
lawyer,
or an accountant. But
there's a lot of misinformation online, and a lot of it is surprisingly inaccurate about taxes.
Yeah, and not only is that true, but there's also a lot of gray areas where even when you talk to an official, they don't have a straight answer for you. And in fact, I don't remember who we were speaking to, but they were talking about this 1 year visa-free thing, and they wanted to get their residency permit, and they went and talked to an immigration official, and the immigration official was like, "Why? Just leave for a day and come back after a year," which technically you're supposed to be gone for 90 days. But again, it's a gray area, and like the things are becoming more integrated as Albania is attempting to join the EU. So these things are going to become more stringent. But the fact that this was just a couple months ago, the official immigration official, I think in Tirana or someone was like, "Oh, you don't need a residency permit. You come for a year."
I have heard of people doing that, but I wouldn't want to chance it myself. But
right.
I mean,
that's just an example of everything is really still kind of gray, and there's a lot of things in transition. But maybe you can come here for a year, go over the border for a day, and come back.
I wouldn't recommend testing it, because what if it didn't work?
Then, well, I mean, the worst case scenario is I think you get a fine. But it's the fact that, I mean, it's not like it was just somebody who said that. It was literally the person in the immigration office. So it can be. There's a lot of gray areas. Just kind of like the tax thing. Consult an attorney.
Yeah,
right. And just make sure you have something in writing. And be safe. Or just get a residency permit if you can get one. It's not that hard. We actually spent a lot of time talking about how difficult it was on your live stream.
I know.
But that's because we didn't get an attorney. Attorneys are relatively inexpensive here. If you come here, if you qualify for a residency permit, if you go see an attorney and set everything up, then it can be a pretty streamlined and inexpensive process in order to get your residency here. And if you learn the language and you spend 5 consecutive years here, you actually become eligible for citizenship as the law is currently written. That might change too. A lot of things are changing right now here in Albania because the current administration under Eddie Rama is pushing really hard to get Albania accepted into the EU. And there's a lot of fluidity everything's plastic when it comes to laws and regulations, and things are changing on a daily basis. So consult a good attorney, and that's usually the answer to everything anywhere. Lawyers, guns, and money, and that'll solve all your problems.
Tona went back to what we were talking about, the video, and she says Craig's version of Max Miller tasting history. We would watch that.
Oh, that's great. We love Max Miller.
Love Max Miller tasting history. Yeah, we're not affiliated with him, but if you don't know who that is, check out his channel. It's really cool. He takes all these recipes from the past, and he tries to recreate them, and he gives this really good breakdown of the history surrounding it, and it's just such a great channel.
Yeah,
he was the one who inspired us to do this.
Yeah, he's a favorite of ours, and again, it's Max Miller tasting history. And well, we actually talked about this today. We're thinking about maybe doing a video. There's another one as well. What's the woman, the young woman?
I don't know
something. Her last name is Birch, I think.
She does a fantastic.
She also does something kind of similar to that. She's not all food. She also does like
the clothing, and she'll recreate the outfits and the food. And
I wish we had her name, because she's really fantastic as well. But we're thinking about doing a video where we'll spend a week doing nothing but eating like ancient food, and we'll do the recipes and stuff like that, or maybe a series of videos.
That'd be a lot of fun.
By Miss Birch and Max Miller on tasting history.
Yeah.
So I think if you'd like to see something like that, chime in on the comments and let us know. Especially if you know of a historical, particularly ancient, like Greek or Roman or Byzantine, or even Turkish recipe. We would love to learn how to make it and eat it on camera for you.
All right. Nicole says, "Did you get permanent residency, Andrea?" No, I did not. I currently have 1 year. And I'll start the renewal process as soon as they let me, which I believe is, I don't know, what would you say, 1 month prior?
It's usually a month or two prior to when it expires. You can restart the process. And mine is getting ready to, mine will expire sometime in December. So in the next couple of weeks, I've got to get on that as well. Get back to, oh God, I really don't want to go to the paperwork again. But yeah, I'm going to get a lawyer this time. And getting a renewal is much easier than getting the original residency. Far less is required of you. So, yeah, I'll be going through that process in the next few weeks, and maybe we'll bring you guys along for that ride.
Yeah, Steve says sounds like a nice place to visit.
It's a wonderful place to visit.
Dan says, "I ran across the same with vehicle registration. There are actual rules, that word of mouth, and what actually works. Nobody knows that the North Carolina on my plate stands for North Carolina."
Yeah, it's really strange. I have a friend. So I think after you're here for a year, like officially speaking, you're supposed to get an Albanian driver's license to drive. And so I have a friend of mine who did that, and he got pulled over by the police, and he gave him the Albanian driver's license. And there was some back and forth. And he also gave him the American driver's license. And like, oh, well, why don't you just give us this first? And he's like, well, I thought I had to have this. And he's like, if you ever get pulled over by us again or any other police officer, just give him the American driver's license, even though he's been here for years. So that's, again, it's an official basically saying, don't follow the written law, whatever. Just give us the American license. You didn't even need to get the Albanian.
Yeah.
Like things are very fluid when it comes to things like it's a lot of gray area. So yeah, that's how it works.
Fred says, "How reliable have you found the electrical, power, water, and internet where you are?"
Pretty reliable. Every once in a while, the power will go out if there's a really bad storm, but I've been surprised at how quickly they get it back on. Like
out here in the village.
Even out here in the village, like look, I lived in Maine and we lost power there as well. So that's how it's like if you have a big storm, sometimes you lose power, and they get it on pretty quickly. There have been instances where the water or the electricity has just been cut off because they're working on a project. And you don't necessarily, you're not going to get an email that says, "Oh, hey, tomorrow between 2 and 4, you're not going to have water." And then
This goes off,
and you'll be in the middle of cooking the meal, and then all of a sudden, just and you're done, or you don't have water, and it's just like sometimes. Luckily, I have a well with a pump, and so I have access to fresh water. But that does happen sometimes. As far as internet
goes, pretty rare.
It's very rare.
It's not. I mean, in the time that I've been in Albania, which is about coming up on a year and a half, it's happened a handful of times where we've just lost power and water. And it's never been so significant that it interferes with my work or us cooking or anything. I mean, it's like a couple hours.
The only time it ever gave me a real problem is when I was literally in the middle of cooking something and I lost power. And then I couldn't finish cooking, which was kind of annoying. As far as the water goes, there's been a couple times where I've been working on projects where they've cut it off, but I do have a well that has a pump on it. And so that hasn't been a hassle for me. The internet, I don't almost always works perfectly. I have fiber optic internet. It's fast. It works well. However, there was one day that it went out and I was in the middle of something and I needed to get it back on. So I went onto my phone where I have 5G and I go to my internet provider and there's a phone number on there. There's a couple phone numbers. And I call the first phone number and it's out of service. Then I go to the second phone number and it's out of service. And this is on the internet provider's website, right? So I'm like, oh, what? Like, I can't believe they have this website with their phone numbers on there and neither of the phone numbers are working. So then I walk down to the end of my street and I see the fiber optic box and that had a different phone number on it. So I called that and that was also out of service. So the only way for me to communicate with my internet provider is to physically go into town and speak to them. So I mean, that's just one of those kind of funny things. Like you would think they would update their website with a new phone number or something. But yeah, no.
And so I work online every day for a lot of hours, and I've had very few issues with the internet. And I do a lot of Zoom calls. More often than not, they're 100% good. Every once in a while, they get a little sketchy. Where it starts to get a little fuzzy or I might lock up a little bit. It's pretty rare. So it's been pretty reliable. I wouldn't say as good as my internet in the US, but it's, I'm able to work.
Yeah, usually the speeds are actually, a lot of people say the speeds here are actually
They're
better.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Mine isn't better, but it's not that much worse.
You can get, there's also, like probably like in many places, there's different levels of service and you can pay for faster internet.
Yeah, and I'm paying for the faster one.
Oh, you are? And it's still not fast?
It's fast, but occasionally my Zoom calls get a little blurry. Oh, yeah. Overall, it works pretty good. Let's see, where are we? A lot of people watch Max Miller. Oh, and Tona was talking about the other girl that we watch. She said they watch her too.
If you can, it's something Birch. I can't remember exactly what her name is. If you would put it in the comments so other people can see, I would like to give her a shout out as well because we really like her channel and what she does. Really cool. She did do one that we watched recently that was she ate nothing but Greek food, ancient Greek food for a week.
Yeah, that was a great video.
Yeah, and she's really into the historical textiles. So she made all ancient Greek garments and wore those all week and ate nothing but ancient Greek food all week.
It was fascinating.
Really, and she does that with, she did it with same thing with like Viking culture
and
Victorian culture and a few other things like that. And that's kind of between her channel and Max Miller's Tasting History. That kind of like inspired us. Like, oh, we should do like a week of just ancient food. Yeah, and maybe if you're lucky, if you chime in on the comments, maybe I'll wear a toga. I don't know.
That would be fantastic. All right, Dan says, we've been watching Stanley Tucci traveling Italy and Eugene Levy traveling the world, eating all the way. Awesome. Michelle says, I'd be really interested in your residency renewal, Craig. Yeah, we'll definitely have to share that.
We'll bring you along for that. This time, even though the renewal is significantly easier, I think I'm going to consult an attorney and just make sure it's not doing the original paperwork was a real hassle, and there was a lot of doing the same thing over and over again. Like I said, sometimes I would submit a document, it would get rejected, and I would be like, I don't know what else they want. So I would submit the same thing the next day and it would get accepted. And it's like, okay. But if you hire a lawyer, then they're dealing with them. And I don't know if I said this on your live stream or if it was at the beginning of mine. I think because it's coming from a law office, they're going to take it a little more seriously. And
I think you're right.
I feel like that, what they're getting is proper. And also a lot of the lawyers know the people in the offices, so they have personal relationships. And so, that goes
a long way.
It's invaluable here, personal relationships. All of Albanian commerce and industry and society is built on the personal relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. Spider Webster says, I've encountered businesses that never answer their advertised email addresses, but the phone number being out of service is a new one to me. Yeah, we've certainly run into the email problem quite a bit.
It has. I one of my favorite local restaurants. I was in there and I took some photographs of the owner with his child, and I was like, oh, I'll send these to your email. He's like, great. And I think he didn't really quite understand what I said to him. So I came home, I processed the photos, and I went onto his restaurant's website, and they had an email for reservations. And so I sent the pictures there. And I've been in there several times and never said anything. I'm kind of surprised he wasn't, happy to see the pictures I took of him and his baby. And I asked his wife, she knows English really well. I was like, I sent these pictures to your reservations email. And did you guys get them? She's like, oh, we lost the password to that 6 months ago. So if you're making reservations at this particular restaurant, they're not getting them.
And it's such a fantastic restaurant.
It's a fantastic. I'm not going to say the name because I'm embarrassing, but it's that's just how things go here. Sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not. Tech is it's a slow moving process here in Albania. Like I said, everything is about the personal relationship. They're not into texting. They're not into Zoom calls, emails. Most places don't even have websites. Like places you would expect to have a website won't have a website, or they'll use an Instagram page as their website
or a Facebook. Yeah, which is a little bit frustrating when you just want to see a website.
You just want to go online and find an orthodontist, and it's like, oh well, there's 30 of them in town, but only one has a website, and the rest are just.
And then you go to the website, and it's an Instagram page with pictures. Right. It's just different.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. All right. Dan says that their internet's mostly reliable, fiber optic, but slow, even buffering at times. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that the fiber optic here is a little bit slower than I would have expected. I actually don't have fiber optics at my place, and it's pretty good. Michelle votes for the toga.
We have to make a toga now on it.
Yeah. Michelle says we have provisional residency, but are waiting on the official acceptance. Yay!
Congratulations, Michelle.
Congrats.
2 different Michelles in the comments here.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Spider Webster says, I think that's because we all use Meta products instead. Let's see. Tona. I don't think it's the same one, but we watch Ancient Recipes with Sola. Oh, no, that's not the same one, but it sounds like another good one.
I'm not familiar with that channel, and thanks for putting it in there. We'll definitely check that out. We love all cooking shows.
Yeah.
I think we watch
probably more cooking shows than anything.
Yeah, we watch
a lot of Max Miller.
We watch a lot of Max Miller. We're also we've been watching some Mexican stuff because we've both been missing Mexican food. And while
we made tacos this week.
We did make tacos this week. You made tacos this week. And I ate tacos this week. And I'm very appreciative. It was very good. And
Jesse was thrilled.
Jesse was very happy. Who's not happy with tacos, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the things, we talked about this on the live stream from last week. You can probably find Mexican food in the capital, but you're not going to find it out here in the provinces. And it's a shame. Somebody needs to bring these people tacos. They are missing out.
We need to do it. We need to bring them tacos. But fortunately, we found one store in town, that organic store that sells taco shells. So we've been able to make our own. All right. Dan says you get a dentist by word of mouth.
Yeah.
Very funny.
You get everything here by word of mouth, but especially a dentist. Yeah.
Spider Webster says, Craig, what kind of scientific work have you done on Albanian subjects, if any? I need time to learn Albanian endemics.
All my scientific work is behind me in the United States. What I focus on here is historical. I am learning as much as I can about the local ecology, and as I do more videos pertaining to the national parks and some of the more unique natural spaces here in Albania, there'll be, I'll expand on that. But scientific, I was a scientist in my former life, and now I'm trying to be a documentary filmmaker and living off commodities. So that's how things go right now.
Yeah. So I think we're at the end of our current question. Sorry, there's a fly in my face. of our current.
Always the one fly.
There's always one
always
fly.
one fly. It's been driving us nuts all
Well,
day.
yeah, I don't have that problem anymore because I have a cat. So whenever a fly gets in, Gato, my cat, will just chase it and gives him something to do all day. So I don't have any fly problems.
We've had this single fly in here all day, and I've not been able to
get
just
we've
one.
Both tried.
And he is just intent on making our lives difficult.
All right, so we're at the end of our current comments and questions. So we wanted to talk a little bit about an experience we've had here recently trying to get a service done in Albania and the research that we went through and what we're planning on doing to resolve the issue. So
yeah, so Andrea and I are in a couple of weeks going to embark on a trip to Berlin, Germany. We're very excited.
Tell them why, Craig.
Well, I'm getting fixed. Basically, they're gonna cut my boys off. So we decided that we don't want to continue with hormonal-based pharmaceutical birth control, and the best option for that is to get a vasectomy performed and just to keep things safe. And so we've started exploring how we could do that. I thought, like Andrea had a gastrointestinal problem, and she found an extraordinarily good clinic in Tirana, and it was an amazing seamless medical, like blows away anything that we've dealt with in the U.S. Like super good. However, that's not how it goes for vasectomies because Albania is an older sort of culture, and the idea of a vasectomy is
it's a newer concept here.
It's kind of frowned upon. It's like that's not something men do here, and it's technically illegal except in certain circumstances. And again, this is a gray area.
It's definitely a gray area. It's very hard to find information on it, and even more difficult to find someone that might do the procedure.
Yeah, so spent an enormous days and days, 40 hours probably plus of researching ChatGPT, website searches, looking for places to get it done here, going back and forth with a couple of urologists here, which eventually decided the facilities that were available and the procedure that was available was extremely expensive. And
what were you quoted for here?
For here, I was quoted €2,500, so about a little over $3,000. Like $3,200 for something that in the U.S. it would cost probably $600. And it was like he didn't even have his own facility, so we were going to have to rent a space in the hospital, and the hospital was, wasn't a place that I really wanted to have it done. So
we started comparing options in some of the surrounding countries to look at pricing and their experience, just how experienced they are with the procedure and the availability. And we spent so much time on this that we just thought we'd share it with y'all because it was, we learned a lot along the way.
Yeah. So it's not a thing in Albania, but also it's really not a Balkan thing. So North Macedonia, I mean, you can get it done, but it's going to be a real hassle finding someone to do it, and it's going to be some kind of specialist private clinic, and it's going to be more expensive than you would expect. People suggested Turkey, but again, it's not socially, it's not something they really do in Turkey. So it's like, oh, you could go to a urologist there and have it done, and it would probably be pretty affordable. But Turkey's still far away, and it's not something they do on a regular basis. So it's like an uncommon procedure. I looked really hard at Greece and went back and forth with a bunch of urologists in Greece. Same kind of thing. It's not part of the culture there, but it's more ubiquitous there than it is in any of these other countries.
Did we look at Italy?
We did not look at Italy.
Why did we look at Italy?
Well, because I kind of are the same
thing.
Culturally, it's a Southern European thing. People like to be fertile. Baby culture is huge in Southern Europe. It's really a big deal. They find it somewhat emasculating to do something like this. In Greece, it is possible if you go to, to Athens or Thessaloniki or one of the bigger cities. And I did go back and forth with a couple of urologists there. But again, it was a situation where it's not something they do on a regular basis.
It's very expensive.
And it was like $3,200. It was always like a private clinic or something like that. And I also had a really hard time getting people to get back to me.
Oh yeah, just
sent,
getting in contact with these places was a huge hassle.
Yeah, so I would send out 100 emails between these countries, and I'd maybe get 8 responses, maybe 10.
Even if they had websites that had contact forms.
You fill out the forms and all this, and there's a couple times where I not only filled out their contact form, but then I also sent a separate email to their email address, and just never heard anything back. So
and making phone calls to the countries have been kind of challenging as well. We've been able to kind of resolve that, but it was kind of a hassle. Setting up international calling for you on Vodafone. I was able to do it easier, and we don't really know why. We don't know why I could set it up on my phone and not on his.
So it was a nightmare, and then we started looking at Germany, and apparently that is like it's
very common.
It's like it would be in the U.S. Northern Europe has a different cultural background than Southern Europe, and they don't view these things the same way, and they just view it as being healthy and safe and a better alternative to chemical birth control and so forth.
And because it's so common, it's super affordable in Germany.
It's much more affordable, I think.
And they have tons of experience with it. We were able to find so many more options.
There are clinics there that do nothing but that. So it was a much better option, and it's going to cost money to go to Germany and do all that. But we get to go see Germany, which is cool. And I'm going to see a doctor who does vasectomies every single day. And the procedure itself is a little over 500 euros. So it's a much better price.
Yeah.
And even if we went to Greece and had it done, we'd still have to pay for accommodations and food and everything else.
Sure.
So
travel.
The worst thing about Germany is it means getting on a plane instead of just renting a car and going across the border.
Yeah.
But it seemed like it's the best option. So if you're moving to Albania and you're looking to get clipped, then you probably want to get it done in the U.S. first, or if you do come here, probably Germany. I even looked at France, and that was going to be kind of difficult, mostly because of the price of flights and accommodations.
Yeah, I looked at Poland. It was another decent option, but it still wasn't quite as affordable or as common as Germany. Germany seemed like just possibly the best option. Yeah. Certainly the most affordable.
Yeah, they're clipping everybody up there.
All right. So I haven't looked at the comments here in a minute. Michelle says it's interesting to hear their attitudes and rules about vasectomy here.
Yeah.
And Dan says he's never done it, but he's had friends who say you'll want to be packed in ice for a long time. I've heard that as well. I have also heard that now the procedures are a little bit less invasive, and you don't need to be packed in ice quite as long. So hopefully it won't be too long, but I think we're going to be okay. We are planning on getting some ice packs.
That is one of the reasons for Germany as well, is they use the most advanced techniques, where some other places use some of the older techniques, and the recovery time is much more. So, I mean, my doctor told me I should be fine. I even asked him, I was like, after the procedure, we'd like to we're going to be there early for a few days so we can go see some things, but then I'm going to have the procedure.
Some great museums there. We're going to make some videos about our travels and the museums and everything.
Yeah, so the procedure is going to be in the middle of our trip, so there'll be a couple days after that we're going to be there for recovery. And I asked the doctor, I was like, well, am I going to be able to go out a little bit and walk around? He's like, yeah, as long as you're not exerting yourself or running a marathon or lifting heavy things, you should be okay.
Which is different than how it used to be, because you used to be down like for a good week or so.
Yeah, so we'll see how I feel, right? We'll see how I feel. I can deal with the pain. That doesn't bother me. I just don't want to take any risks on hurting myself or anything like that. So we'll talk to the doctor again when I get there, and the procedure is the modern, ultra modern procedure. They call it the no scalpel method. Where it's not very invasive, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Keep me in your thoughts and prayers.
Spider Webster says, yikes, one of the few times Albanian medical is more expensive. And yeah, we were really surprised as well, because we're losing connectivity. Okay, I think we're back. Sorry, we lost connectivity there for a minute. But yeah, we agree. I mean, the medical here is typically very good and very affordable, but not in this case.
Yeah, it's just because it's not a procedure that anybody gets done here. So even the doctor that I was going to go see here that was rather expensive, he's an Albanian, but he's only here like 1 or 2 days a week, or maybe even a few days a month. And he mostly runs his practice overseas. Like he works in France a lot, I know, and I think in Germany as well. So he's an Albanian. He has an office here, but for me to get the procedure done here, he was going to have to rent space at one of the local hospitals. He doesn't have his own clinic. I think he comes into town and has like a few patients here that he helps out with, any kidney stones, other urological issues, but doesn't have his own operating facility. So it's not a thing that's done here. And that's why. And so if he's going to go to all this trouble and rent space, it was going to be very expensive. And that's just how it was.
Yeah. Alessi Scrabble Buddy says, just joined. So glad to see you guys. Good to see you, Alessi. You came in right in the middle of the vasectomy conversation.
Hello. Yeah.
But glad you're here. KBWNC says, in most cases, is Greece a good option for majority of healthcare services you need but can't obtain in Albania? Wondering in case I make the move. Now that's interesting because I don't know, because so far that hasn't been the case. I've been able to find an amazing gastroenterologist here in Albania, an amazing back doctor. There's great dental here also. And it's one time that we needed the procedure elsewhere, Greece ended up not being the best option for us. So I don't know that that's true.
Greece would have been a much better option for the vasectomy, but
the price was high.
But the price was high, and it wasn't. Germany just ended up being like they're pros in this. This is something that they do on a regular basis. And in Greece, it would have been a general urologist who does, it's one of the few things he ever does. Where again, he's probably dealing a lot more with kidney stones and testicular cancer and these other things. Whereas in Germany, it's like, no, this is one of our specialties. You come and the doctor is performing this operation multiple times a day. Whereas the doctors in Greece, it might be, once every couple of weeks I do one, or maybe one, maybe not even that much. So, but for everything else, we've found that the private medical care here in Albania, if you go to a private clinic, we haven't had problems with anything else. Greece probably has great medical care as well for these sorts of things, but you might end up paying a little bit more in Greece. But it's going to be a case-by-case basis depending on what you need dealt with.
Yeah. Dan says, how about Germany? You must have said that before we got to that point, because we were talking about all the places we were looking at.
Headed to Berlin, Germany.
Yep. Looking forward to it. So that'll be in a couple of weeks. We'll make some cool videos. Not about the procedure, but about walking around Germany.
Maybe about the procedure too. Who knows? Bring the camera in there and get some views. I don't know.
All right. Fred says, sorry, I didn't catch where in Albania you are. Vlora and the Albanian Riviera seems to have the best beaches, and Tirana has the most conveniences. Your thoughts?
We're in Pogradec. And it's definitely Vlora is going to be it's more convenient. It's a big city. You can probably get pretty much anything you need there.
Certainly in Tirana. The conveniences are just absolutely the best in Tirana, I would imagine.
Yeah. And that's just kind of how it goes. We're out here in the provinces, and generally we get 95% of everything we need here. The rest we can order online. And barring that, we make a trip either to Korcha or Tirana.
95 might be a little high. There's things I just learned to go without.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, look, you're not going to starve or anything out here. You're going to get what you need by and large. But there might be something specific. Like I wanted a digital meat thermometer. I couldn't find it here.
Yeah.
You have to go to Tirana or Vlora or one of the bigger cities. Korcha probably would have had that as well.
Yeah, and I found I can't always find the cosmetics that I want, or I have a little bit harder time. I had a little bit of a hard time finding chemical-free cleaning products, but you ended up finding a store and telling me about it that had some good options. Yeah. So I have been able to find a lot of things, but there's certainly specialty food items, certain supplements that I can't find, and cosmetics.
Yeah, and some of it is, we just don't necessarily know. We've been working on learning everything we can, tempura. Tempura batter is the most recent thing. It was we're probably going to have to go somewhere else to get that. And then I was in the natural food store the other day and had tempura batter. And I was like, perfect.
And rice paper. We found rice paper. We found that. We found taco shell. So we are slowly starting to find most of the things. Yeah.
Soy sauce, multiple soy sauces, things like that. So most things are available. Again, there might be a specific food item that you want, like fish sauce, which for the ancient recipes is kind of a replacement for garum and stuff.
Yeah.
We couldn't find that here, but we were able to find it in Korcha. So you get most of what you need here in Pogradec, but you definitely need to order online or go to one of the bigger cities to get some more specialty items.
Wang Prabong, I think that was Steve, says, good luck with the vasectomy. I try to avoid sharp objects near my testicles.
Yeah, lucky you.
Michelle says, for any surgery, you want someone who does it regularly.
Exactly. That was one of the primary deciding factors is I want somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, go ahead.
Not someone who's just like, okay, well, yeah, no. I know I'm a surgeon.
I've done this once or twice. I technically
know the procedure, I do, but I primarily do other things. I want somebody who's like, this is my daily, every day.
Spider Webster says for €3,200, better to do a little medical tourism with that money. Yep, agreed. For sure. Yeah, that's what we ended up deciding on, and we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to going to Berlin.
Looking
forward
to part days. Of it. Like you've been to Munich once.
Munich was incredible.
But I've never been to Germany at all, other than a layover in Frankfurt. So I'm excited to see Berlin.
Yeah.
And there's some really amazing world-class museums there.
Yeah.
That we're excited to go see.
It'll be fun for us to share a new experience together because a lot of the places we've been, you've already been.
Right.
So yeah, it'll be a lot of fun for a couple of days.
And we're going to try some good German food. And apparently, Berlin is one of these super multicultural cities. And apparently the Turkish food there is to die for.
Yeah. So, we've been watching a lot of videos on what we should eat and what we should try while we're there.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Most of it will be fun.
The first couple of days. All right. Tona says, will the local doctors do the sperm count testing for the weeks after? It can take a while for any residual to leave the body. It's a good question and something we did a little research on.
Yeah, I'll actually haven't completely figured that out yet. Maybe, I'm a biologist. Maybe I'll just buy a microscope and do it myself.
We're not doing that.
I could. I'm
really?
It's pretty simple. You just have to look in the microscope and
swimming by.
see if they're in there swimming around, But no, I'm going to consult some urologists here. I'm sure that's having a vasectomy done here is not a common procedure, but I'm sure people have issues with trying to conceive and so forth. So I'm sure getting a sperm count is probably a pretty standard thing here. So that shouldn't be a problem. And
maybe when we find out, we can share that information for people who are interested in knowing. Spider Webster says, I really want us all to start a wiki where we can make non-Facebook pages where we can look up where to buy what, recommend healthcare, etc. That's an excellent idea.
Yeah.
I think that's a fantastic idea. Gyps 33, Olaplex shampoo. I'm not familiar with that. Tona says, my salon here in Pocardetch uses Olaplex. Nice. E. Brown says that's a great idea. Yeah, I agree. Spider Webster, that's a fantastic idea. We could certainly share resources.
Yeah, it's one of the things, like like I said, we were looking for things. We weren't able to find it. We wanted sriracha sauce. We're like, I guess we're going to have to go somewhere. Tempura batter. And then we ended up finally finding it here in town. So you nooks and crannies, you got to dig.
And I would say, I've been here since February, but in the short time that Tona's been here, she's been a great resource. She has found so many things and given me that information. I think Tina has helped quite a bit with that as well. But knowing it, just sharing resources and information has been absolutely invaluable. Spider Webster says, I'm up for it. It's just hard for me to reach people to organize it since I'm not on Facebook and don't want to rejoin. Yeah, I don't blame you there. I have a hard time with Facebook. I don't like being on there.
Facebook is an important platform for me, for my photography and so forth. But I understand people who don't want to be on there. It's that's how it works sometimes.
Michelle says, as a former medical technologist, the post-op sperm count is just like you described it, Craig. Well, there you go.
Perfect. Yeah,
we'll just get a magnifying glass and find those.
As a biologist, I've spent a lot of time on a microscope. I used to do a lot of macrobenthic taxonomy, which is basically taking samples of sand from the ocean and dyeing and then identifying all the little microscopic critters that were in the sand for like dredging projects and things like that. So I'm handy with a microscope, and I'm pretty confident that it won't be an issue.
Where are we going to get the microscope?
I have a microscope. I'm going to have my mom and dad bring it, or we'll have to get one here, which could be fun.
Megatech carries them?
I'm sure we could find a microscope somewhere. We can probably find one used somewhere.
Where?
I've always liked having a microscope because it's part of my background. That they're just fun to have.
They're fun to have. Yeah, we could take a look at what's in the lake.
All sorts of stuff. All sorts of stuff. So yeah, I'll investigate exactly what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. And either way, like the first choice is going to be I'm going to try, I'll go to, because it's not going to be expensive to have that done here, and I'll just have a professional do it. But barring that, yeah, I've looked at all sorts of things under the microscope, including sperm, so I know how I'm familiar.
Know what it looks like.
I know exactly what it looks like. I used to deal with. I used to propagate endangered freshwater mussels, so I'm very familiar with the gametes of different animals under a microscope. So.
All right. So where are we? E. Brown says, same here, Spider Webster, not on Facebook and don't want to start. Yeah, I don't blame you. I believe that's Steve, says Berlin has nice museums. Yeah, there's a ton of them. Beautiful museum. Unfortunately, the one that we want to see the most is actually closed. And oddly, this is something that kind of blew us away. It's been closed for renovations since 2013 and won't be fully open again until 2037. So we want to know what's going on at the Pergamon Museum. Like, what are they doing that takes that long? He mentioned that. He says the Pergamon is amazing. A must-see while in Berlin. We're not going to be able to see it. It's down. Yeah, it's down. And for decades. We can't imagine what it's going to take that long to renovate. It better be spectacular when it's going to partially reopen, I believe, in 2027. But it won't be fully reopened again until the 2030s. So I don't know what's going on there. Spider Webster says, "Lucky duck, I miss the dissection microscope." Yeah, microscopes, dissection microscopes, and regular microscopes are an awful lot of fun. Yeah, I agree. And Michelle says, "Well, then you've got this, Craig." Yeah, I mean it's basic biology, right? I mean, it's my background. We'll figure this out. Yeah. All right. So we are at the end of our current comments, and it's been about 50 minutes. Do you want to wrap it up? Yeah, I think we can wrap it up here, unless anybody else has any questions, preferably ones that aren't vasectomy related. we beat that horse. Yeah, I would like to, first of all, I want to thank Andrea because once again, just like last week, she has done the bulk. She's done all the comment reading. I've been reading them along, so I wore my glasses this time, but she has read them aloud. And that's the heavy lifting of doing a live stream like this, so I really appreciate that. No problem. And I appreciate all of you and everyone who has supported my channel. Again, some of the things I talked about earlier about where I want to take the channel. If you guys have any suggestions or comments, you can leave them in the comments on this video afterwards or send me a private message or anything like that. And please, if you're not subscribed to Andrea's channel, which is New Life Albania, please subscribe to her channel. She does a lot of like what life is like here for her. She does a lot of budgeting videos and also a lot of hiking videos and things like that. And so thank you to everyone. Do we have any other new questions? Spider Webster says, it's not a short answer, but for next time, maybe it would be nice to hear how living in the village differs from living in Pokerdetch proper. Yeah, that's I appreciate that, and that would be a great subject for us to tackle in one of our next live streams. So, that's a good one, because we're always trying to figure out, well, what are we going to talk about if no one's asking questions? And we haven't forgotten that we are at some point going to do, at least I will do, and Andrea will watch and comment on a taste test between the different types of rakia that are here. I will watch. So it is. That's the national liquor, we'll say, of Albania, and they make it from grapes. They make it from plums. I even saw one was made from juniper. So we'll try the different ones, and you guys get to see my reaction. We'll get some store-bought high-end rakia. And we'll get some in the village here that somebody bottled in an old Coke bottle, which and those tend to be the best sometimes. So yeah, absolutely. So that's on the list as well. But yeah, we'll cover the differences of living in the city as opposed to the village in one of our videos. And thank you so much for the suggestion. Is there anything else? Dan says not in Mir, which is good night. Which is good night. Tona says she would like a visual of the village. So we did attempt to do a live stream through the village once, and it didn't go very well. We lost connection pretty bad. But we should do a video.
Yeah, and at some point, I'll do not a live stream, but like maybe a regular video. I'll do a walkthrough of my house and just what my house is like here as where we're at tonight. I need to get some artwork up here. I just haven't. I've got stuff. We just haven't gotten it hung yet. I need Andrea's help and her eye to help me choose what will go best where. So yeah, that'll all be in the future, and I will do a video just kind of on the. If you look at my videos on my channel, you will see bits and pieces of the village. I did the one on winters here, the big snowstorm we had.
Yeah.
And like the last quarter of that video was shots of the village with snow and everything.
Yeah.
So.
Jeff says it was fun until we talked about getting cut. Too scary.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those necessities in life. You know, the other forms are just not good. So this is the smart thing to do. And yeah, I guess we're going to wrap it up here.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thanks everyone.
For all your comments. And
really appreciate it. And if you have any other questions or anything, feel free to leave a comment on my channel, on the description of this or whatever. Please join Andrea's channel, again, New Life Albania. It's a great channel, great person. And we really appreciate all of you very much. And again, good night in Albanian is not in the mirror.
Not in the mirror.
And we'll see you all next week.
See y'all.